Hello everyone, I am Dan Stapleton, and with me is Callie Plagge.
Hello.
She's reviewing The Sims 4 for us. We just got it yesterday, so this is our review in progress video. We're just going to cover, she died, I guess. We're just going to cover the first few hours of gameplay here, and I guess you're going to focus on your experiences with the Create a Sim and yeah, tell us a little bit more about it.
Yep, so basically yesterday she looks way too fancy for where she is. I only had time to really go into Create a Sim and a little bit of live mode. So there were some immediate differences I noticed. There's no Create a Style, so not a whole lot of customization going on. But the push and pull feature for the Sims like body types is really nice. You can get a wide variety of body types, unlike before it was just like fat or not fat, muscular.
Let's show that off. Like
muscular.
how do we get to there from here?
Well, I can
okay.
We'll just do this.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played for like an hour last night. Yeah, I actually do really like the new like facial modeling features.
Oh,
like that's pretty cool. You can zoom in on that and click on the particular part of the body you want to do.
Let's show
do
that.
I'm gonna mess up her nose.
Let's just make her ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's nice because you can get a wide variety of like races and
and it's probably
a lot of diversity and geez.
Yeah, would you say this is like the best Sims modeling tool so far? Like
yes,
facial modeling?
definitely.
Yeah, I mean it's like the old ones just had a bunch of sliders that you can mess with. This one you can either just like you can pick from these pre-made ones, like it's like you always could, but you can also just grab it and give her some duck face.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And then you can also double click and go even more detail on her face.
Ooh.
And kind of do some detailed stuff with the eye shape, with the brow shape. Doing all sorts of stuff. I think you can.
Whoa!
She's
anime
eyes. You can give her anime eyes.
She is so high right now.
She is. Oh, we're making an alien or something, or like a dark elf. Yeah. So you can do all sorts of crazy stuff with pupils and whatnot. There's no option to edit hair.
Really?
Which I was disappointed about. I mean, you can change her hair, but you can't like edit it in the same way you could her face. And she is very terrifying. And
she looks okay from afar. Just don't get too close.
She's a Monet.
But I know that's the good thing that sets The Sims 4 apart. But I guess you have some issues with the Create a Style or lack thereof.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's gonna give
I've already seen that.
Message.
We just got this. So it's kind of nice because there's a lot of variety. So you can give her, you can give her like a rounder stomach if you want her to be like that. You can give her thicker thighs. You can get a lot of stuff going on with body types. Mm-hmm. But if you go into clothing, for example, let's see, I want to just have a full body outfit. Let's put her in something nice.
And this is always kind of a shock to the system when you're coming from the last Sims games to the new one, because there's just not a big wardrobe selection anymore.
Yeah, especially because after all the expansions and all the stuff on the store online had so many clothing options, and now you don't even have a whole lot to choose from in terms of color. So there's just these. And
you can't make your own style. You can't do like different patterns and different colors like you could in The Sims 3.
If there's a way to do it, I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one of the big absent features, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, so I mean, you can make her thighs all big, but you can't change the color of what she's wearing.
But they have said there's going to be a lot of mod support for this, so hopefully modders will kind of fill the gaps, but it still doesn't allow you to do the kind of personalized touch you could do with The Sims 3.
Yeah, it feels a little bare around here. And then they have these like preset styles that you can choose from, which I guess is just like their way of giving you a template. Didn't really understand the point. But it's basically like, here's an outfit that we created that you could have easily created.
Right.
With the thing.
And it's nice to like a lot of people play The Sims in different ways. Like if you're not into like customize your outfits, then that's a quick and easy way to get in.
Yeah, and they provide a lot of preset body types for you if you just kind of want an easy if you're more into like architecture and stuff like that. Very easy ways to create kind of basic Sims. They have a lot of different skin.
I'm sure there's a good architect body type there.
Yeah, this one.
Architects are totally built.
Architects. I think they draw mostly. And then one of the interesting things is over here, you can change their walk style.
Yeah, that's a big new feature. That's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool. I mean, yeah. So
they've got a dopey one down there, don't
they?
They
have a dopey one that kind of reminds me of like sad George Michael, which if I know The Sims, that could be what it's based on. Because I remember Never Nude was a trait, and
lots of
they
Arrested
included
Development.
that. They had, I think in the base game, there was a character based off Tobias, so lots of stuff like this. You can also be tough, and then this one's called Feminine, which I was kind of like, I mean, you could just call it like a lot of hip movement. It doesn't have to be feminine, because there's like tough walk, which you could call masculine, but they didn't call it masculine. So I thought that, I don't know, that's just a nitpicky thing. But they also have a better variety of voices. So yeah, you can change the kind of the tone.
Many different varieties of Simlish.
Yeah, lots of Simlish to learn if you're into that. And then the one thing I was really disappointed with is the traits. There's only 3, and then the 4th one is linked to your aspiration. So if I wanted her to be, I don't know, we made her an architect or something. If she wants to be a bodybuilder, it's the only athletic thing, then she has to have a high metabolism, and you can't. Like, if you wanted to create like a sim whose life was really sad, like they wanted to be an athlete but they were clumsy and lazy. Like, if you wanted to do that, you can't, because it's linked.
Right. So you can't give somebody, like, you can't create somebody who's going to have a really hard time achieving their life goal.
Yeah.
Which I mean I can understand why they would do that, because like it would I'm sure a lot of people created somebody inadvertently that was not fun to play as because you like made it really hard for yourself. And that's kind of what you see in a lot of games. Like, if you look at like games that came out in the 90s versus games today, it's like they kind of take away the opportunity to screw yourself over a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of hardcore people like that, although The Sims is not really a hardcore game, so I don't really take a big issue with this, or a big offense with that.
It's not a huge issue.
How many traits were there in The Sims 3? I forget.
You could have 5, and then with University you could have a 6th.
Okay.
And they were all ones you could choose, unless like you were born to an unhappy life, and then they chose for you. But
show us a couple of those traits.
So traits, they kind of organize them a little differently. It's kind of the same thing, but so there's things like new things like self-assured as like a confident trait, and then instead of, for example, like hopeless romantic versus flirty, it's all kind of rolled into one with romantic. Gloomy, it's kind of an interesting one. And then hobby ones are really, really limited. It looks like they might be thinking to add that later.
Yeah, I mean, it's The Sims. They're going to add a lot of everything later.
We know that's happening. And then, I thought that was interesting. The geek one seems to be kind of a replacement for the geek like social group in University. And video gaming is now a skill that you can learn.
I've said that all along.
It should be. You know, the classic, like, insane. That's a fun one, always.
Are there any notable ones that were like you're really bummed out aren't here, or?
Well, the difference between hopeless romantic and flirty was a big one.
But I guess you could kind of create that by making somebody who's romantic and clumsy, though, right?
Yeah, you could kind of do that on your own. I like the addition of bro. I thought that was funny.
And obviously, like this is stuff that's all going to bear out as we play more. And we've only had a few hours with it so far.
Right, and I think I noticed in the brief time I've played in live mode that they add some things in with emotions that aren't present in traits.
Right.
So, like, for example, romantic. I made a romantic sim, and instead of like having the flirty trait, she'll have the flirty emotion, and that influences, like, she'll want to tell a dirty joke or something.
Right.
So we can go to that now.
Why don't we load up one of your save games here? We should be able to do that. Might have to go back to the main menu to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
So we're not going to create this horror of a person.
So one thing that sets this game apart from the last is that the load times are notably shorter, right?
Yes, definitely.
Kind of comes with a cost here.
Yes.
Which one? Load us up one here, Callie.
You can see it's kind of divided into blocks almost, and they all have their separate load screens. And so this is the romantic that I created. So
it's going to load in really fast. Like in The Sims 3, this would have taken like 2 or 3 minutes to load this up. We don't have an SSD in this machine, but it's got it's a Core i5 and a GTX 780, so it's a pretty high powered PC.
Yeah, and mine at home is along those lines. So
So this is what your house looks like after a couple hours of play so far.
She is going to bed at 10 in the morning. I don't remember doing that. She's going back to bed.
I do like the UI in this. I think they did a really good
job.
job.
The UI is really nice. It's pretty intuitive, actually, for me. Like, the cell phone is, like, right there.
Yep.
That's where you get a lot of stuff. That's how you travel between the different blocks. Like I said, you have to load. Cooking is kind of cool. I mean, it's not that cool, but you can cook all these options and see definitely what your ingredients are right from there, or you can do like an official have brunch, and there's kind of new options, like a BLT wasn't a thing, I don't think. And so if you notice, she's really hungry right now, which gives her the emotion uncomfortable from being hungry, which means she's less effective at work and such.
And all those things dictate her wants for that time, right?
Yeah.
And they also, like, I think it's new for this one. They can unlock different actions. So like if like my sim last night wanted to exercise, so I could tell her go in the middle of the room and do push-ups, but you can't do that unless they have that kind of that mood enabled.
Right. When I was playing last night, she became confident, and then she had to pee, so the option became available to pee like a champ.
Oh, right.
And then I discovered by accident that they can read while on the toilet, which is part of the new multitasking feature, which I just thought was pretty funny.
I think they did have some of that contextual naming for the options in Sims 3 and some of the later expansions, but I don't recall them having the ability to like say you can only do this when your sim is in a particular mood, which is new.
Yeah.
I also really like what they did with the UI for all the wants and needs, or the sim stats.
Yeah.
Like when I first started up, that was closed. I'm like, where is it? How do I find it?
Where'd it go?
Which was kind of a shock, but I like that it's no longer this thing that's always on the screen, because like just being able to hide all the UI and just have this very clean look to it, but also have that stuff readily accessible, I think is a really good change.
Oh, definitely. And it's kind of cool. I filled all her needs, so she doesn't have any, but earlier when she was hungry, you can have this closed and you can see what the most pressing need is, and so it's a really
that'll light up when she gets hungry or something else.
Yeah, it'll light up, and so you can see what the most important thing to take care of is at a quick glance, and so that's kind of nice. And then here's like where you can put this is all the information about her. I guess I played longer than I thought because I kind of went through her life a little bit, but so there's only 4 things. I made her a geek, and she wants to be a computer whiz.
So you can even see
cliche.
You can even see in the UI there if you go back to that last screen with the traits. Like there's even room for more of those there.
They kept room. So knowing The Sims, there's going to be stuff added in. It seems a little bare right now the way it is. And then also I liked this. They have stats.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Which used to be, I think, in the skills journal, you could see some stats, but this one's kind of like they have it like goals, emotions, and you can see how often your sim. Okay, my sim is really flirty. She's flirty all the time.
How much woohoo?
No, I haven't woohooed yet. I couldn't find anybody because the town is disappointingly small.
All right. Speaking of which, let's go try and be social. Let's go next door and show people what happens when you go next door.
So she needs to get dressed first of all.
Nah.
And also stop playing Sims Forever. Oh, look.
Oh, well, that makes it easy.
Here's someone else that she has a slight. So, here's another thing is they put the friendship is the top in green, and then there's romantic interactions, and because I'm happy, I can give her a compliment, like, you're so great. And so they have a little bit of a romantic interaction because I was having them flirt.
Because she flirts with everybody.
Yeah, because she was just dying for flirty. And because she's romantic, she will get upset if she hasn't flirted with someone in a while. Another thing that's nice is the conversation is a little more intuitive. By which I mean like people join the conversation pretty seamlessly.
And they can do multiple things at once. Like they don't like if somebody's sitting in a chair, they can like go. Let's try that. Like we can go sit down, and both people don't have to be sitting to have this conversation.
Yeah, one of them can be standing. You can be dancing at a bar and be listening to someone else's story, kind of like eavesdropping, kind of. And you can have a drink while you're talking to someone. So there's a lot of. I don't know if she'll even follow her in.
Maybe. Maybe do I have to invite her in?
Maybe.
Is she a vampire?
She's. Let's see.
Friend, chat about. Get in here, dummy.
Friendly.
And there's a bunch of stuff we can do. Let's just go brighten her day. Oh, here she comes. Here she
finally.
Comes. All right. Let's see. So we can go sit. Maybe she's gonna sit with me, but so we can. Okay, let's talk right here.
We can talk to her, and she won't get up and.
Well, she's gonna sit down anyway. But the point is, you can do that. I've seen it happen. I swear.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. And you can also turn the TV on, and I'm still getting used to the camera controls. They're different.
Yeah, there's an option for that.
There is an option.
You can go back to the Sims 3 camera, which I prefer. Like this one.
I prefer.
This one just switches the right mouse and middle mouse for rotating and panning. Which I choose not to learn that new muscle memory, so I just switch.
Yeah, I switched it too. I didn't do it on this computer, but yeah. So they're gonna do this and continue their chat.
They've both got remotes.
I don't know how they did that.
She brought her own remote.
Creep. Okay.
But you figured out that you can read on the toilet, which is.
I did.
It's like, wow, it's just like real life.
If only you could play Game Boy on the toilet, and then it would be like real life. But yeah, it was a complete accident. I had her studying cooking, and then she just like got up to use the bathroom and took her book with her and continued to learn how to cook.
Man, I hope they have iPads so you can use iPads on the toilet.
They do. There's a tablet. There's no laptop.
Huh. Laptops are so last year, Callie. So let's go outside here. Like you can still zoom out like this, which is something you kind of expect from a Sims game, but that's as far out as you can zoom.
That is it.
And you can't like pan any further than this.
And these houses don't actually exist.
Yep, these are not real houses. But here's what was really shocking to me was the fact that we've got this small area with just what is this, 5 lots?
Yes. Yes.
But if I want to go over here, like. I just want to say go over here. I have to say visit residence.
Instead of just...
And then
loading
screen.
Loads.
Holy crap.
And that is Sims 2 status stuff
we're
looking at. So
it's just weird. I mean, I get that they want short load times. They want this to run on a laptop with low specs. But, man.
That's
just shocking.
It's a shock, yeah.
And, so now I can go into this house and, interact with this house like you would normally. And it's fully populated and everything. But if I want to go home, there's another load screen.
And her house is literally right there. So
yeah, it's like why did they do the small neighborhoods?
That girl is displaying one of the other walks.
So it's a very prissy walk.
Yeah, she is. You can tell.
And she's just gonna walk right by.
Oh, she's leaving.
Okay.
See ya.
Yep. Oh well.
Summer Holiday is her name. That's very Sims.
They just left us. Oh, there is somebody in this house. All right, let's go.
They have
say hi.
A full bar. I don't even.
Yeah, there's a whole mixology aspiration and skill set. That was what I chose for mine.
Late night mixology.
Yep.
Yeah,
which is always hilarious to me because to maintain their T rating in this game they can't have alcohol, but we're gonna make all these fruit drink cocktails and call them nectar.
Yeah, and the nectar, and they make you happy and.
Yep. But. Yeah, that's the initial takeaway from the first few hours. We will be sure to check in with more impressions as we go. But yeah, that's kind of the first shock that we had coming in. I think for me the difference between when I went from The Sims 2 to The Sims 3, like that whole being able to zoom out and see the whole town thing, that was a big mind-blowing feature.
Oh yeah.
That Sims 2 can go right in the trash. I didn't care that I was giving up all of my expansions and because I just had that one feature that made playing this feel like radically different and better.
Exactly.
Coming from The Sims 3 to The Sims 4, I'm not really seeing that yet. And they do have a lot of nice little tweaks. I like the UI a lot better. I like we haven't even gotten into a bunch of the stuff where you can go online and you can get stuff like there's no more Sims Launcher, which that can die. I hate the Sims Launcher.
Yeah.
But so they've done a lot of nice little things, but there's just no overall like moment to moment gameplay thing that has really hooked me.
Yeah, exactly. That is pretty much how I felt too. I remember distinctly going from The Sims 2 to The Sims 3 and never wanting to go back. And this one, as soon as I got to live mode, I was like, well, I miss all my stuff.
Yeah, all my stuff is there.
I had really cool like Lolita clothing, and now I have, there's like 2 options.
Yeah.
What's going on right now?
I think there's a barbecue happening over here or something. But
yeah, I think next time we'll go over build mode. That's where some cool changes come in, but I want to get into that more before we go over it. But there is.
And again, we're just working off our first few hours here, so.
Yeah, so this isn't by any means like a final judgment or anything, but.
And
yeah.
we'll be working towards posting our full review early next week.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Callie, for coming in and showing this off, and I'll let you get back to playing hardcore.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for more on The Sims 4, stick with IGN.